everyone, Euphie here, and I, upon request from a significant number of you, for a shoe cover tutorial. Over the years of me cosplaying, I have tried different methods on how to do a shoe cover, some of which requires you to wrap your foot around the fabric, and that it's nice and simple. I don't really prefer it because it doesn't give you my opinion, I can't get it to look like a shoe. So, when I was working on my Neptune, I decided to do something a little different. It is a little more complicated, and the pattern is in 3 pieces. You could do 4, but what you're going to do is take your shoe. I haven't tried this yet on a boot or a wedged heel, so I don't really know how well it would work, although I'll get back to that in a bit. The easiest way to do this, I would recommend buying some muslin, something really, really cheap, to make your pattern out of. You can use a non-stretch material, 4-way stretch material for your shoe. It doesn't matter, but for the pattern, I highly recommend using muslin. And the first step is take your shoe. You see where the whole black section here, up until the heel? The way that I did that was I put my fabric over my shoe. You see the shape I'm getting right now? After pulling the fabric back, what I did was on my muslin is I traced this shape here, right until you get to the heel. And it's really weird looking, but let's see. Oh, there you go. You see right here where the heel is? You're going to trace, see where my finger is going? You're going to trace all the way up to the heel, around, and back. So that whole section should look like this. Let me show you where it goes. See? It should come out like that. But this sole piece, you don't necessarily need this. If you want to, instead of buying a pair of shoes for every single shoe cover I need, I like to recycle my shoes so I can actually wear my pumps with my normal clothes. But if you're going to not do that, you can, glue the fabric directly to the shoe, in which case you don't need to do the sole. If you're planning on doing kind of like an English riding chap and have elastic underneath, going from one side to the other, you don't need the sole. But if you want the sole, there you go. Your next step is making a pattern to cover the area of your shoe. Now this is a little difficult, trying to get the fabric laying down on it. So once again, you're going to completely cover your shoe and kind of pull it tight so you can get that shape there. And with your muslin, you're going to trace this whole section up until right here. See where my finger is? Because right there, if you can see, it separates this part of the shoe from the heel. You don't want to trace it all the way down to the heel because we're going to be making the heel separately. So you kind of just want to feel for that with your pen or pencil or whatever. So you're going to trace all along in here, up until the middle of the back, all the way to the front. And when you get up here, make a line right in the middle. And then, where is it? And then this is what your pattern should look like. I'm sorry for all the wrinkles. I really should have ironed it, but I was working on other things. Now, what this looks like when you lay it on your shoe, if I can figure out where to do. here's the middle. It's not the most even. Then around. See how this part is a little longer right here? It's because it kind of folds over because you want to follow the shape of your shoe. So right where your shoe and the sole kind of meet, that's where you want to be tracing. See how it goes under the shoe a little bit? You want to trace that so you can get that curvature in there. And so that's what your pattern piece should look like. Now, as you can see on my Neptune shoe, I have no seam down the middle. So if you don't want a seam, just place this part here on the front of the shoe on the fold of the fabric. If you're going to be doing a boot to go all the way up your leg, you can, if you want to, use the seam there just so you can actually get a nice curvature of your leg. If not, then you kind of be similarly doing the whole fabric over your foot method, where you're just going to take it in the back seam. Now the last part is the heel, and this part it's a little funky, but again, you're gonna drape your fabric over your shoe. You're gonna feel around for all the crevices, and again, trace it. It's actually really simple. It just takes a little bit of time because of the way that the shoe is shaped, but you see where the crease of the heel is? That's where you're going to be tracing all the way. You see the whole white part of the heel? That's the section you're going to be tracing. You're not going to be tracing this part of the heel because that's part of the sole. However, if you're not going to be using a sole, then by all means trace all around just so you can cover it. Unless you don't want the heel, you can do that too. Such as if you're doing, like if I wanted to make this a white boot, I most likely wouldn't even bother doing the heel. There's no point, it's already white. So this is what your heel pattern should look like. Now that you have your pattern, it's time to sew everything together. Just keep in mind your sole. You see, this is for your right foot. Now it's for your left foot. When you're sewing everything together, since you're going to be doing a lot of it inside out, so when you're working on your right shoe, you want to put it on your left shoe inside out so that you can pull the pull the fabric, make sure it fits, it's form-fitting to your shoe. And then once you flip it inside out, you can put it on the right shoe and it's fine. Just keep that in mind. When you're sewing the right, it goes on the left. When you're sewing the left, it goes on the right. And it's really confusing, I'm sorry. But, so you see where your seams are? Since this is a 4-way stretch material, I really had to pull the fabric along, especially the toe area of my shoe, so I can get a nice little point. So it's not too pointy, but it doesn't look too silly at the same time. But you don't want to pull it too much because you don't want any color of your original shoe showing. And if you're doing a pump like this, if you're not doing a boot, you are going to have to add an elastic T in here. Why do we need a T? I'm going to tell you why. Because when you're walking, the fabric is going to slide down and your shoe is going to become visible, and you're going to have to bend over, constantly fix your shoe, and it's not fun. So by doing this, when you put your foot in the shoe, it literally, if you can see, can you see any light anymore? No. So what it does, it's pulling the fabric into the shoe. You're gonna have to measure how long you want your fabric, your elastic to be, because you want it to, see that? You want it to pull the fabric in, so that way it's secure on your foot. You definitely want to put these little I forget what they're called, the little things you put on the bottom of your shoe so you don't slip around. Don't break your legs, don't break anything, don't fall. Be safe, don't panic, and have fun. If you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I will put on my shoes now and show you the final outcome. Can you see? Yeah, they're fun, they stay on, they match my costume. What can possibly be wrong? Honestly, the only annoying part is actual pattern making. Make sure everything is tight. Make sure everything is form-fitting. And that's really it.